Hi, I'm Yasmin and welcome. Today I'm joined by actress and filmmaker Zoe Craft for a conversation, that touched me more deeply than I actually expected. Zoe speaks with such honesty about dyslexia, creativity, losing both parents within 2 weeks, and the courage it takes to keep going when life keeps breaking around you. We also talk about a new film, The Edible Underwear Club, a truly hilarious, tender Christmas story with a quiet but powerful message about loneliness and mental health. This episode explores the parts of us we don't usually show and the healing that happens when we finally do. So welcome, Zoe. I'm so excited to have you here for our very first episode today. When we first spoke, what really struck me was your openness and how you see creativity.
Thank you. I'm trying to remember when the first time we spoke was. I think fundraising for the film.
And what really struck me, how you see creativity, not just as art, but as a way of surviving, expressing and reconnecting.
Yeah, definitely. I think what we do as in film and TV and the media is all about connecting, because you never want someone to watch what you're doing and be bored. Is, I think, the worst thing you can do. Like, even if you watch what I'm doing and you hate it, I've made you feel something. And I think that's, as artists, what we want.
Okay. So how are you arriving today? Creatively, emotionally, or physically, or a mixture of all three? Who are you today?
That is a huge question. Who am I today? You know what? I'm in my pajamas on the bottom half. So
get confusing as an actress.
In what way?
Like, do you forget
what the line between where I am and where the character is?
Yeah, that's the question I'm asking.
Ooh. Yeah, it does sometimes get blurred, because even I feel like doing an interview like this, there's part of me that's still like playing a character. It's like a defense mechanism. Even when you said to me, like, how are you arriving today? I just be like, well, I'm actually in my pajamas, and like make a joke out of it. I'm not really like revealing anything of note. So it's interesting. I think the longer you play a character, certainly the closer that you grow to that person.
And then how do you come out of that character? Do you ever truly come out of that character? Or is there part of the character, once you've played it, that you carry that through with you?
I think you definitely carry them with you. I mean, I was in Holby City for a little while. It was like a recurring role that I came back and forth over about a year. And I definitely find myself saying, well, statistically speaking, and the character used to say that she was a statistician. Right. And her like catchphrase was, well, statistically speaking, and then she'd like reel off all these facts. And I definitely found myself trying to prove a point in everyday life and go, well, actually, no, statistically, blah, 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 blah. So you definitely do pick up traits.
Yeah, and it would be impossible not to. When did your creative journey actually begin?
Oh,
did you always know you wanted to be an actress?
No, I always wanted to be a writer. Ever since I was like 4 years old, I always wanted to be an author. But I have really bad dyslexia, so I really struggled in school. Yeah, and I remember being like 13 or 14 and talking to my English teacher and being like, I really want to be a writer. And just being told, like, no, that's not for someone like you. Like, you won't get there with this.
And how was that, hearing that at that age?
Really crushing. I think if I had to describe like school, it would be crushing. Like, I really feel.
Have you ever been back to tell them, or tell that teacher in particular?
You know what? I had a really odd experience 5 or 6 years ago. I went back to my hometown to put some flowers on my mum and dad's grave. And on the bench opposite them was an old teacher from this school. We recognised each other, and we had a chat. And he asked me, he was like, "Oh, would you ever come back to the school and, like, you know, run a workshop or give a talk or like give some advice to the students?" And I went, "Absolutely not." And I said, "And this is why." And I kind of reeled off some stuff.
Mm-hmm. And as you say that, I can hear the anger and hurt.
Yeah, definitely. I think
To be told that as a teenager, to have your dreams crushed as a teenager.
yeah, it's definitely wasn't it wasn't what education should have been.
How did writing become your way of expression then? Because you were told there's no way you're going to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. I kind of fell into it. And I say fell into it. I mean, I went out and got myself an acting agent.
Right. It's not really falling into it, is it?
No, you know what? I can't remember. I think I just turned 18 actually. I was like, oh, I'm going to be an actor. So I just emailed every single agent in London. And I was like, I'll see what happens.
And had you had any training then or been to drama school?
So at that point, I had started at university and I was studying drama.
Right. Okay.
But I didn't really know, and I still don't really know what I want to do with my life. So I kind of, and that's to say I fell into it. I did go out and pursue it. And I actually had a great response from all these agents. They were like, "No, we'd love to have you." And that was how I signed my first agent.
Okay. And did you actually finish your degree then, or did you get an agent and just leave uni?
No, I did both at the same time. So I was getting the experience and doing my degree.
Can you remember what your first role was?
Okay, don't quote me on this because I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was a short film about
Sorry to put you on the spot there.
No, that's right. I'm just trying to think what was the first one. It was a short film. And I remember I was playing like the school bully, and it was produced by someone who's now become a good friend, Jane Sanger.
Okay.
I got her on board for Edible Underwear Club as our intimacy coordinator. So it was nice. And I mean, it's been 10 years since that first short film. So it was really nice to have her on board one of my films now. She's like, "Oh, you've grown up now. You're all grown up." And she's like, "I'm so proud of everything you've achieved." So that was a nice moment for me to have that come like full circle.
So I wanted to have the empty chair cards. Yeah. And as I was saying earlier, I was trying to explain to you what they are. I created them a few years ago. They're inspired by the Gestalt technique of the empty chair technique. You sit and talk to an empty chair. I created these cards with different chairs and different backgrounds. It's a bit experimental. Then we go to, and there's around 200 cards. And basically, don't think too much into it. There'll be one, you can just pick one.
I think I'm going to go for this one.
So what is it that's drawn you to that?
I think because it's so abstract. I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's like a throne kind of tilted on top of scaffolding that has like people climbing up it. I don't know. What do you think that means?
Well, everyone has their own thoughts about it.
Mm-hmm. It was just the one that I was like drawn to the most.
This one?
Yeah. I think it was just because they're all so abstract, and I was kind of just like, okay, I'm going to switch my brain off a bit and just pick one. And this was the one that just jumped out at me.
So the scaffolding,
Yeah, I think so. It looks like it might like tip over at any moment. I think it's quite a good representation of how this year's been. We're kind of like trying to like build up to something, and we're just at the top now, and I'm not sure which way it's gonna go. It looks like a wild ride either way it's gonna go.
And you say that you've been building because you're at that stage of building your business, building your brand, building a reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And it could just be all lost.
Yeah. The film might not play.
So tell me about the Edible Underwear Club. How did it come to life, and what message sits at the heart of it?
So the Edible Underwear Club, it is not what it sounds like. So the Edible Underwear Club is a feature film. And I was just thinking about when we had to go and book locations. And when you say to these people, like, oh, can I film in your house? The film's called the Edible Underwear Club. And we had to be very clear that it's not pornography. And that was a little bit embarrassing. It's a feature film, and it's set in the call centre for like a fictional version of Anne Summers that's called The Boner Barn. And it follows the group of people who work in this call centre as they get more and more miserable over the month of December, like in the lead up to Christmas. So it is actually a Christmas film.
It's a Christmas film.
It's a Christmas film.
Set in a call centre, selling...
Yes, dildos. The
dildos.
But we've designed like the worst products imaginable. We had a lot of fun taking things.
Selling really, really bad dildos.
Oh yeah. And I mean, there's so my character accidentally orders 40,000 pairs of festive fanny floss, which is what we call as
Yes.
What
is fanny floss?
I don't know. We kind of just made it up. So we were
here. I guess that's the beauty, isn't it? Right?
Stupid version of edible underwear. Because it's like this like G-string like made of candy.
Really like they look really painful.
I'm like, who is buying this? So we decided in the film to call it, because it's got to be Christmas themed, so she has to sell them by December. So we called it Festive Fanny Floss Minty Mistletoe Edition, which I very much regret that decision, because saying that repeatedly is very hard.
Yeah, and I bet, did you have to do a lot of takes on that?
No, I was actually it wasn't too bad. So one of our crew, AJ, likes to keep track in his head, and he is amazing, and he keeps track in his head of all the takes that everybody's ruined, and he like tallies them all up. And I think I only ruined 8 takes for the whole film.
So did you write this? The Edible Underwear Club?
Yeah, so Luke and I, Luke is my partner and my business partner. We're a 2-for-1. He and I wrote the scripts together.
And where did the inspiration come from? Had it been simmering there for a few years? Was it something that just you woke up like at 3 a.m. and thought the Edible
Underwear Club? So, it started as a joke. We were like, what's the stupidest name you could name a film? And one of us just went, oh yeah, the Edible Underwear Club. And then I went, oh, you know what? We should make that, and we should make it a Christmas film, because every December we can sell it.
Okay. It's quite a shrewd business move also.
Well, we'll see. The world might not be ready for a Christmas film about the people.
I was thinking about that. So is the world, because it does have quite a tragic ending.
It does.
When I heard that, and I was thinking about this, is the world ready for that? I mean, it's got a serious message to it. Underneath all the humour and the tongue-in-cheek, it has got a genuine, serious message.
Yeah, so I don't want to give too much away, but there is very much an undercurrent of mental health over the holidays, and
which impacts so many of us,
right? And I wanted something to go against the grain, because there's so many films where it's this big happy family holiday and everybody gets together, and I think a lot of people are quite lonely and quite isolated over Christmas. So it it tells that story. And I think if there's one thing I want people to take away from the film, it's check in on everybody, even the people who you don't think will need it, even the people who are really happy and holding it all together. Just check in on those people too.
You've described success as feeling safe and free to create.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what helps you find that safety now? Am I asking really difficult questions?
You are asking really difficult questions, but I think that's good. It's really making me think. And I don't know. I think I don't know how you get to safety, because we've had a tough year. It's been one of the hardest years of my life. I think we're making a film. We started a second business. Those things have in one way or another like shaken that internal sense of safety. So I'm not sure what the answer is. I think if I had to give one, I would say surround yourself with the right people. Because it's definitely been the people this year who have just been like fantastic and have really lifted us up.
And also having like you and Luke are like twinnies, like a real team. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Finding the right partner is just changes everything, I think.
I mean, it's not business and personal.
What do you mean?
Working together and living together and having a relationship and everything together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of envious of you guys, actually. I always dreamed of that. But I had that.
It is. Oh, I don't know how to describe it. It's wonderful and amazing, and I think we are two very resilient people. But it's really difficult because you can't, if you have a bad day, you can't come home and complain to your partner because they're probably the people they've been having the same bad day with you.
Or the cause of it.
Or they're the cause of it. Yeah, absolutely. So it is great having that support system, and I think we're a very, very strong team. But then it can get really tough.
So I'm wondering that sense of isolation, not just as a creative.
For sure. I think it's weird talking about the film, and I'm kind of like looking at who is a part of the team, and it is a lot of people have incredible stories. Not as in like they've lost their parents, but incredible stories of overcoming to get to this point. And I've been told these things in confidence, but like you would not believe what this team of people has gone through to make it to this point.
Adversity.
Any kind of adversity you can think of, someone on our team has been through. And I think it's been nice to create that safe space where everyone's kind of like opened up to each other.
That's interesting because you've just like dug a bit deeper, because on the surface level, when I first spoke to you, you're so committed to creating an inclusive, safe space for neurodivergent people, the people in your team. But it runs deeper than that, doesn't it? So what you're saying in a way is that connectedness, that safe space isn't just on surface level, because you're seeing people's stories.
100%. I mean, there's I've worked before with two of my best friends, two of my adopted family I met on a different film set. So this is Paul and Jimmy. We were all we had to live together on a different set. So I walked into this Airbnb, and I was really nervous because I'm living with these two guys that I've never met before. And within about 3 minutes, we were all just opening up to each other. And I know that they're two of the people that I don't know, we just had this understanding of each other. And I think that's because we all have our different pasts that we brought to the table. And there's a sense of family and belonging in that. So Paul is my adopted baby brother, and Jimmy is my adopted granddad. Not that old. We just Paul and I like to tease him.
So it's so wonderful to hear that you've actually created this environment like my ethos is family.
Mm.
It doesn't have to be blood.
100%. And it's interesting when you know when you meet these people.
No, so I wanted to ask you, you touched on about visiting your mum and dad's grave.
Mm-hmm.
So you cared for your mum during her illness.
Yeah.
And that's such, when you told me this, an intimate act of love. How has that experience changed your relationship with creativity? But before you even answer that, how did you get through that? Because you lost both parents.
Yeah, 2 weeks apart.
And how old were you?
I just turned 21.
Your mum must have been ill during your teen years.
Yeah, she was diagnosed with cancer when I would have been 15 or 16. And she knew it was terminal right from the start. And she was only given, I think, 6 months to a year to live. But she actually lived, 5 or 6 years after that.
I mean, it's difficult enough to lose one parent, but to lose two?
Mm-hmm. It is, it doesn't even feel real to me. I think if I heard someone else say that, I would be very shocked. Because I see that reaction when I tell other people, like people are really shocked.
Mm.
But I think when you ask me how did you get through that, it's because you don't have a choice. You do just have to keep going.
But some people don't.
In terms of like, I guess I do see people who have been through something traumatic kind of like fold into themselves.
Mm.
Or use like unhealthy coping mechanisms. Yeah, I mean, I am not. I wish I had something really inspirational and amazing to say that would fill people with hope, but I actually don't. I think it's just you take it one day at a time.
In therapy, we call it post. I always feel a bit divided about this phrase, post-traumatic growth. Like when people have gone through certain trauma.
Yes.
Afterward, and is that a laugh there? Is that your way of coping?
I think it's
or acknowledging.
No, it's definitely just acknowledging what it is, because I think there was a very difficult time in my life where I'd been through so much, and I couldn't really relate to my friends anymore. I still really struggle with that sometimes. I think I really struggle to take criticism from some of my friends about like little things when I'm like, oh, you don't know, you haven't walked in my shoes, so it's a bit galling to take this from you.
Yeah.
So I think there is certainly like you outgrow a lot of relationships, and that's very, very difficult. Because I suddenly, like, I remember after my mum and dad died, I went to like a grief counselling group. I was the youngest by probably 40 years. Suddenly I was relating to this group of like pensioners. And I was like, oh no, these people understand me, not the people that I'm supposed to be like going out drinking with and like letting my hair down. It was really, really odd.
So how did it feel sitting in this grief
group circle,
surrounded by like people that you say pensioners, I'd say like people living in their older years? It was
weird to have that level of understanding from people who were so much older than me. So it was on one hand it was really nice. On the other hand, when they all started talking about like hip replacements or knee replacements, I was like, I don't belong here. So it's just so difficult.
And, you know, I wonder if there's this sense of this is not fair.
Oh,
what has happened to me?
I've never thought that about my mum and dad dying. It was the fallout from them dying and kind of like the situation that I was in.
Okay. Do you
Oh,
have siblings?
no, it's just me. Just me.
Just you.
Yeah.
So you're still an emerging adult.
Yeah.
You've cared for your mum that has
Mm-hmm.
had cancer.
Mm-hmm.
You're an only child.
Mm-hmm.
Your mum passes away, and then 2 weeks later, your father passes away.
Yeah.
The feeling of isolation?
Yeah, hugely. And because their house was it was beautiful, but it was on a farm, so it was like in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So it was like very, very physically isolated as well.
You could have gone so the other way, and I'm sure there are times you may have done. We all find different coping strategies.
Mm. You know, I'm very thankful that I am who I am, and who I am is inherently really fucking boring. You know, I'm not the life and soul of the party. I'm not the loudest person in the room. I don't like going out and being surrounded by loads of people. I'm very much happy having like a craft evening with my girls and like just sitting in the garden with a glass of wine with my girlfriends or Luke or whoever. So I've just never been tempted to like do anything really stupid.
Okay. So those really dark moments, because we all...
Oh, 100% have had those, yeah.
Yeah. If you were to share something with our listeners who may be going through something like a really dark moment where you feel there is no escape, or who knows someone who's going through that, what helped you? What helped you crawl out of those moments?
Oh, my first instinct is to go back to the being really angry, like just being really fucking pissed off. Has helped me get through some moments, but there are some moments where it's like the darkness just feels like so unending.
Yeah.
And I wish I had something really like profound to say, but I don't.
Okay.
So I'll probably go with just like one day at a time, one moment at a time, one foot in front of the other. And I think it kind of like relates back to the film of like, what would you say to somebody? And so maybe my advice is reach out to friends if you're feeling that way. And as a person, like we should be reaching out to everybody, even maybe the people we don't think need it, to check in on them. Because I think the way you get through this is through community and being lifted up and those connections that are kind of like an anchor.
But also at the same time, like isolation, wanting to isolate ourselves. Isolation is also quite common. How did you overcome that? Because there must have been days that you just wanted the whole world to just fuck off.
Oh, believe me, this year I've had so many days where I've just been like, actually last night I just looked at Luke and went, I'm so excited for everybody to leave us alone. Please, can we go on holiday? And oh, it's so hard. And it's I think for me, like my art and my writing and being creative is what's got me to this point, to where I'm able to like put a message out into the world about mental health and suicide. And like, I think certainly I felt very lonely over Christmas.
Your first Christmas?
Every Christmas, I think, up until I've been with Luke, I felt lonely. Even though I've been with my amazing like aunt and uncle and all my cousins, and we do like a big family Christmas, I always feel on the outside looking in.
Yeah, I get that.
So, and I think really that is what the film is about. Because there aren't any films where it's like, oh, I feel really lonely over Christmas. I feel isolated. And I wanted to make something that reflects that.
Zoe,
Yes.
okay, can we just go back to an earlier moment we were talking?
Yes.
Right. I know you said that you described the scene, and
Mhm.
as we've been talking through, I can't stop thinking about this actually. But
Mhm.
you described the scene being at the cemetery. You were there at the cemetery, seeing your mum and dad. You lost them within 2 weeks of each other, and you
Yeah.
bumped into this old school teacher that
Yeah.
you hadn't seen for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're asking you about a favor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they know that you've lost both your parents within 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, they must have done, because they were literally, so there's it's like a churchyard, and there's the graves, and there was a bench directly opposite. Where I grew up, it's quite a small town, and like everybody knew everybody. My parents were teachers, so it was like quite a small community. So they definitely knew 100%.
Okay. And I felt your energy of being quite angry at this man and angry at this school.
Yeah, and it's not until you've just said it now where you went like, oh, I can't believe that dude was asking a favor from you. Where I was like, yeah, actually, that is a bit fucked up. Sorry, am I allowed to swear on the podcast?
Yeah, of course.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that really, like, I was like, just upon reflection, yeah, that's really odd.
Yeah, I mean, that's odd, but also the anger and the
Mm.
imagining it came across as rage. I don't know. Ask you, like, who is that rage really for? Maybe I'm wrong, and you can correct me here because this is a conversation between two people. So what I'm trying to say, you must be angry of losing both your parents within 2 weeks. Are you not?
You know what? I'm really angry at everything that came after that and kind of like came before. Weirdly, I'm not angry about that. I think there's a lot of like unfairness. Like I went through a lot before they died and after they died. And I was so on my own, and I really had to like fight my way out that situation. So I think I'm angry about that. And then it's interesting hearing you say like, oh, you sound like you're angry.
Or you could be, because I don't want to just dispute that. That is what I felt.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's interesting to like feel so alone and like put down by people constantly, because like people, particularly when you're different and you're creative and you're marching to the beat of your own drum, people don't understand it and they really want to put you down. And then suddenly when you hit success, everybody wants a part of that. Everybody wants a favor. And I'm like, well, where were you on the way up when actually I needed something?
Yeah.
Like you could have helped me, and I'm like, and you actually did the opposite. You really put me down, and now I've hit something great and success that is mine and I've built, and you want a piece of that. That is what pisses me off.
And rightly so.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when my father passed away and I was 13.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to look out for people that had lost not just a parent, but a father, because I could relate to them.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You don't understand it unless you've been through it. And nobody's really been through what I've been through. That's a very like niche thing.
Yeah.
It's very, very isolating.
And you're doing so many amazing things. How did you and Luke meet, actually?
So Luke and I met when we were 17. We met on the open day of university. So we'd known each other for a long, long, long time. We've been friends for a really long time before we actually got together.
And did you, when you first saw him at university, did you think like, oh, this is the man that I'm going to end up with?
I'm just laughing because I know you know the story to this. So I was telling Yasmin that on the first day of university, I was 17. I walked into this room. There's all these people there. and I was really intimidated, and I was like keeping around. I'm like, who do I talk to? And Luke was in the corner with his mum, and his shirt, I remember he was wearing this like plaid shirt that was all untucked and it was all buttoned up wrong. And I remember seeing that and thinking like, that's the person I'm going to go and talk to, because like at least, I don't know, it was endearing. So he was actually the first person that I spoke to, and I just went, yeah, you'll do.
I think it's a bit more than that, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a really interesting journey, because we've known each other our whole adult lives, you know, since we were 17. And it's kind of been, we've lost contact, we've become the best of friends, we've worked together before, and then like it took us like 15 years to get together. So,
And so how did you get together then in the end?
we just became the best of friends. Like we were friends, and then we drifted apart, and then we were friends again, and then just genuinely we just really became the best of friends. Like we bonded over film.
Healthy relationships should be built on friendship, on genuine friendship. It lays a strong foundation.
Yeah, because I mean, when things have got really tough, and maybe that kind of like romance isn't there at the end of like a really long day. You know, we've been through times where we've had like no money, and
how is that? Because they're looking at as a poor, aren't they? Until they make it.
Yeah,
if they ever make it, because many don't.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was going to say that when we've been through these really tough times, we've always had our friendship to fall back on. Okay. We have so many like in-jokes and shared memories. It's been nice to have that. I've always known that he's my best friend.
I really value that in a relationship. Do you think in today's modern world that it can get forgotten? Swiping left.
Yeah, I think it's really important, and I'm really thankful that we have that strong foundation.
What would you say to someone who wants to go into what dreams of being an actress or an actor or a writer or a songwriter, but maybe they haven't got that support around them, or they lack confidence? What would you say to them?
It is really tough, because I see the people who there's a lot of nepotism in the industry. So there's a lot of people who...
Would you want to just explain that a bit more?
Yeah, so it's a lot of people I see have early success, and maybe people whose parents are very wealthy or very well connected or in the industry. That is just such a huge head start. So I would say, if you want to go into this, I would say just make your own work. Just go for it. And it might be rubbish. It will be rubbish to start with, but just keep going, like keep creating it and keep building, and eventually it will pay off. But you're also probably going to have a side hustle or a day job, or do something you don't really want to do whilst you're working to build that. I know from experience how frustrating that is, to be working so hard and see this other group of people careers kind of take off.
How do you manage the rejection?
I would say it's easier when you've got when you're making your own work anyway. I'm like, oh, it'd be great if I booked this, but if I don't, I'm really busy filming Edible Underwear Club, so I'm not that bothered. It gets easier the fuller your life is. I've certainly been in places where everything's been pinned on this audition, and I'm like, I have to book it. I need the money. I need this career step. And that's a very unhealthy place to be.
Have you seen the industry change since COVID?
Yeah, I don't think I've had an in-person audition since 2020. And you know, 10 years ago, if you'd said you won't be going into London every week for an audition, I would have been shocked. It's all via Zoom or self-tapes now. I think that's been the biggest change I've seen.
And do you think that's for the better or not? Or you're indifferent?
I mean, I'm personally indifferent, but I see how it's a good thing for a lot of people. Like if you're a working mum, that's a lot easier. If you've got like a full-time job, You could tape in the evening. So I do see the advantages. I miss the real life interaction. I would prefer to go back to in-person auditions, but there is a certain amount of control you have now over your self-tape. And, you can do it as many times as you want to. You can light it how you want to. So I do see the advantages. I decided to go back to university.
And was that because you were on Holby City and you wanted to be a nurse?
No, that had nothing to do with it. If anything, that put me off.
Right.
Repeatedly sprayed in the face with like blood and guts from the props department.
Hey.
Not some of my favourite moments. No, I've been thinking a lot about if I'm not going to be in like, film and TV, if that's maybe not what I want to do anymore, or what I can't do anymore, what would I like to do? And I'm like, I'm not good at a lot of things, but I like to think I'm quite a kind, caring person. And like maybe that's what I'm good at. Maybe I should go into nursing.
So would you really consider it? And you mentioned that you cared for your mum as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that experience has
Yeah, that's definitely shaped who I've become, and that career choice for sure has been shaped by those like early experiences.
Just listening to you here, that sounds like even writing this for you has been a healing process. A part of that journey of healing as a person, as a daughter.
It's been, you know what, it's not so much the writing, it's the making of. Because I think now every Christmas, like I've had the best times of my life making this film. And every Christmas I can watch this and I can think about all these amazing people who I'm now connected to and who are now part of this crazy family where we made this really stupid Christmas film. And I feel connected again. Mm-hmm. I feel like everybody who was involved are kind of like these anchors holding me, keeping me safe, holding me down, giving me that connection.
So what you're saying, Zoe, and what I'm picking up, this isn't just a film. This isn't just you being a producer, director, writing. This is actually, in a way, a lifeline.
Yeah, I think so. And I don't quite think I saw it that way when I started out. But I think that is what it's become. Because this year we've had, I've certainly had some of the worst days of my life and some of the best days of my life. And weirdly, sometimes they were the same day. I cannot tell you how many times I've looked at Luke and gone, I'm frightened, I'm scared. I don't know what I'm doing. But we're so nearly at the end of that journey. So the Edible Underwear Club is inherently about mental health over the holidays and feeling alone and finding that community. And I think I will always be creative, and I would always like to be making my own films. But if that's not an option, this is, I think, a really great backup for me.
When you say that's not an option, why would it not be an option? What would have to happen for it not to be an option?
I think where this year's been really transformative, and being the victim of this crime has certainly made me cautious of being in the public eye.
Right.
It's not something that I enjoy anymore. I don't know if I ever enjoyed it to begin with, but it's certainly become something that's made me quite uncomfortable now.
My next question was, where do you see yourself? Such a boring question.
In how many years?
5 years.
5 years. I think in 5 years' time, I think that Luke and I will be married.
Okay.
Luke. I think we'll have kids. That's on the cards. I hope we're living in our dream house.
Which is?
A very, very boring answer, but we live in London, so like a 3-bedroom house.
With a garden.
Is the dream, but we live in one of the most expensive cities in the world, so I would love to be there, but we'll see. And I do think we will still be making our own films. In whatever capacity that looks like.
Have you seen a shift in genre of like independent filmmakers? Like,
I think that's going to be an interesting time for indie filmmakers. But there's so much amazing cinema being made independently, and I think it's blowing the studios out of the water. I've seen just
which would you
phenomenal.
do you have a favourite indie film this year?
You know what? So I missed the premiere of this. But one film I've just heard nothing but phenomenal things about is called Unlicensed by Mark Hampton, who wrote, directed, and starred in it. I've heard that this just knocks anything a studio's made out of the water, and I'm really excited to see that. I think that's the standard we should all be aiming for.
What I pause again?
Unlicensed.
Unlicensed.
It's about to hit streaming. So it's had its London run and London premiere, and Luke's seen it, and he's just been like, this is how it should be done. This beats studio made films. I think that it's a really exciting time for indie films, because I think studios, their budgets have almost got too big, whereas there's an art to cheap filmmaking. And I do think that hunger for it gives films a certain like soul. There's a lot of
an edge, that grittiness.
Yeah, that I think studio made films are losing.
What is Unlicensed about?
So it's a boxing film,
Right.
also about gambling and mental health and like masculinity.
Yours is about male mental health.
Oh, you know, when you said what film are you really excited for, I should have said our film. I think that's actually hilarious. That I went, someone else's film seems amazing. But no, our film also seems amazing, and this is the film I'm most excited about. Edible Underwear Club.
How big was the crew then?
We were a really small core team. So it was me, Luke, we had Glyn on sound, and we had AJ on camera. We were assistant directed by Kamal. So it was a really, really small core team. I think everyone was expecting this big setup, and we were like, nope, it's just us.
Just us.
Just us. Yeah. So it was lovely. There was a week where me and Luke, Glyn and AJ all lived together on set. That was, for me, the highlight of the year. I think we just all became like the best of friends. Yeah.
I guess like filmmaking, when you're making something, creating something like that, become like a family. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Glyn was in tears on the last day. Which, I mean, Glyn is my adopted dad, I've decided. He's a retired teacher who's kind of just had a second lease of life, and he's decided to go into film as a sound technician. And we were so lucky to find him. So lucky. He is the best person I know, I think. He's just wonderful. And then
so I like the way that you say he's one of the best people you know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about just the sound. It was about him as a person.
Who he is as a person is absolutely just wonderful. Like, I just adore him. We found the best group of people. They are the kindest, most hardworking people that I know. Just everyone.
That's what makes a film, doesn't it? Because there's so much that could go wrong.
Oh, so much did go wrong.
Oh, so much did.
Oh, yeah. Every day we had a disaster. The first day, I get a text from Kamal, our assistant director, and she goes, well, the good news is I've found everybody. I've got all our actors. The bad news is we're all trapped on a train that's broken down with no electricity. So I don't know what to do. And this was Kamal's first day ever as an assistant director. And it was our first day ever making the film. So we ended up getting everyone set about 2.5 hours late on the first day. So, but we ended up finishing on time, which is a huge achievement for any film set, let alone an indie one. It was, and I think every day there was kind of a disaster, but every day we managed to overcome it and catch back up. And that is because we just had the most fantastic team.
So it's like there's a lot of anticipation for you, isn't there? That keep you cool.
With a lot of difficulty. I mean, Luke is one of the calmest people I know, and that helps.
Right.
So I think if it was both of us freaking out, it wouldn't work. But he's very calm and cool and collected in almost every situation. So that it kind of like helps to co-regulate. But I have been having nightmares for the last 8 weeks.
Real nightmares. You wake.
No, I mean, well, so I've been having dreams that we all get to the cinema and the film doesn't play. For whatever, everybody I love there, everybody who's believed in the film is there at the cinema. We're all sitting down, and then it just doesn't work. So I am really worried. It's really, really scary to do a big project on this scale and have everybody you love and care about and respect be excited for it and part of it. So I'm really worried that we're not gonna be able to pull it off. But we're at the last hurdle now. We're at the finish line. Yeah, we're at the finish line.
And how has your relationship with Luke supported or reshaped your creative process?
Oh, it's so much fun. It's so much fun to have someone who you live with who at like 10:30 I can be like, oh, I've got this really silly idea for this thing. Da, 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 da. And he's like, oh my God, I love it. No, you know what we should do that and we should do. Da, 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 da. So it's so much fun because we just feed off each other.
So you buzz off each other.
Oh, well, for sure. It's really nice to have someone be so creative. And we have the same sense of humour.
So do you think as a creative, it's really important to have in a personal relationship to have another creative?
I think it depends what it is, because if I'm like painting, then I want to be totally left alone. That's quite a solitary activity. But for making a film, no, it's been so much fun to have like your other half there to like feed off. But it's also a bit worrying because we have the same sense of humour and we're like, what if nobody else finds this funny? I love to write. And I do. It kind of sits in my head for a long time. I'm like, I'll have something that I want to say. And it will sit in my head for a long, long, long time until it eventually comes out onto the paper. But I think it is very therapeutic, and it's very therapeutic to hand that to somebody else and like see their reaction. Like I'll always show it to Luke and he'll be like, no, I get it. I get what you're trying, like I understand your perspective a bit more. But that's my fear, is that nobody gets it. Nobody finds it funny.
Especially when, as a creative, when you put something out of into the world, it's so much part of you.
Yeah, and this one it's such a big risk. I'm like, we should have gone maybe safer with what we were making a film about. But we're very silly people, and this is what we chose to do. And this is my fear: is the world ready for a Christmas film about dildos and men's mental health? And I'm not sure. We're going to find out very soon.
So thanks so much for your time. You take care, and I really look forward to the premiere of the Edible Underwear Club, December the 6th, Rio Cinema, Dalston. You can get your tickets on Eventbrite. Thank you, Zoe Craft.
Thank you so much for having me. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.